For the first 5 weeks, I was probably feeding her an average of about 25 times a day for upwards of 9 hours solidly feeding a day. Yeah, you're not the only one in the world awake at like 3 a.m. in the morning feeding, and feeds can take like 2 hours in that night. But yeah, it's all worth it once you see their little face.
Our service is unbelievably important because we offer support to parents from pregnancy all the way to when their babies can be 6 months old. We provide not only support around all types of feeding, so breastfeeding, formula feeding, combi feeding, however you choose to feed your baby, but we also provide emotional support. You know, your mental well-being is just as important as how you feed your baby. I got a call from Jazz just before Esme was born, and she came to my home. And then she came into hospital and visited me in the hospital while I was still in transitional care. And then from there, once I was home, she came and visited me at home. Jazz's support has been the single most important part of my parenthood journey so far. And I think without expertise, reassurance, I would have probably felt inadequate as a mum. I would have probably equated the amount of feeding she was doing to the fact that my supply wasn't enough, which is mostly a myth, which I didn't really know until I had someone like Jazz there kind of holding my hand through that kind of cluster feeding process. And you know, the proof is in the pudding. She is gaining an incredible amount of weight every week. She's doing really, really well.
My little one was born 10 weeks premature, and because she was so small, we had real difficulties getting started with breastfeeding. It was a hard hurdle to get over, especially because she was tube fed, you know, the first 5 weeks of her life. It was lovely to breastfeed, and I did it with formula feeding for the first 6 months of her life. The support was amazing, especially with her being so premature. It meant more to give her that because of her early start in life.
First time mum, never breastfed before, so I didn't quite know what things would look like or how they were going to go. But just knowing that I was going to be getting a call every few days or sort of every few weeks, sort of knowing that there was going to be someone there to check in was really important.
It's just giving you that confidence as a new mum that you've got someone there to reassure you that you're doing everything right, you're doing a good job.
We know that 8 out of 10 women stop breastfeeding before they've wanted to, and we know that the reasons for that is because they've not been able to access the support that they need within a timely fashion.
What we hope is that we'll end up with kind of a generation of parents that feel really confident about the choices that they made to feed their baby. That doesn't necessarily mean breastfeeding, or, you know, although breastfeeding is amazing and incredible and really hard work, it just means that when you look back in 20 years' time and you say to your children who might be pregnant or having their children, is you can say, I chose to feed my baby like this and it went really well and I feel really proud of what I achieved.
3 weeks after my daughter was born, my husband had to go back to work. Jazz actually checked with me what day he was going to go back, and she arrived. It made me realise that I'm not alone. Although it's the absolute best thing that I've ever done, it's also one of the hardest things I've ever done. And the spectrum of emotions that you experience during those early weeks, particularly with all of those hormonal changes as well, you're really vulnerable. It has been revolutionary to the kind of experience that I've had. It's made me feel so much more secure as a mum. It's made me feel so much more trusting in my own instincts. And I cannot thank the service and Jazz enough.